Yeah. Back on two with the boy Dre and Easy. What's going on, Dre?
Feeling good. How you feeling, E?
Feeling good, man. It's a leap year.
An elite day.
Leap day.
Feeling fantastic?
Fantastic, of course. Feeling fantastic. Thank you. How was your week?
Week was good. Nothing crazy.
Is that a good thing?
Sometimes steady is good.
That's true. Steady is good. There's nothing wrong with balance.
Nothing wrong with balance. Nothing high, nothing low.
No doubt. So we're checking in, man. Today is the last day of February 2020. So we want to just have this quick check-in on Black History Month.
Last day of Black History
Month. The last day of Black History Month. We got a bonus day.
Got an extra day.
Got a bonus day. And we chatted in the past about the disrespect that is Black History Month.
True.
Right? And just to run it down for the people, all of the distractions.
There was a new distraction.
That deter everyone away from...
Talk about it.
From celebrating the Black contributions in world history. Not just American history, but the world history.
Civilization history.
Right? Because the first week of February, you have what?
Super Bowl, and you had
Groundhog's Day. Right? So you got those two bookends working. The second week, you got Valentine's Day.
And the All-Star Weekend, which is, we'll take that as Black History Day.
Right? Then the next week, you have President's Day. So people out of work, out of school.
Then it was like a Margarita Day or something like that.
And then there's Fat Tuesday and Mardi Gras was in the mix.
Yep. Then there was a Margarita Day.
And then there was
Dominican Day, Dominican Independence Day.
Okay, shout out to the Dominicans.
Hey.
Right? And then you got
Ash Wednesday.
Right, Ash Wednesday.
Yeah.
Right? And then also a new one was National Drinking Wine Day.
That's what it was, wine. I thought it was Margarita Day. My bad.
Oh, I was gonna say, because I wouldn't put it past them to have Margarita Day and wine.
I knew it was some alcohol.
You know,
but it was in there.
So
it's a lot of distractions in February for a short month.
Yeah, they squeeze them all in there. They don't want you thinking about it.
So it's in March. Just all we got is St. Patty's Day.
I think St. Patty's Day is coming up with some other things, but you know, it's back to not having to celebrate the accomplishments of folks that helped build this country and this world.
Very true.
So you have been posting.
I've been posting
some historical posts. You've been some educational posts, right?
Been as consistent as I could, 5 days a week.
Without. And so we should not be stopping that just because it's February.
So I'm hearing this. You gonna pick up the mantle? You gonna take the torch?
Well, that's not really my thing.
Oh, bro, come on.
I can't. I'm not digging that deep. I'm enjoying it. You doing it for the people like me. That's learning.
I like that. I like how you did that.
What you mean? It's true.
I like how you did that, though.
It's true.
So you don't pick up, just put a little in there.
I could try, but you know, I don't do it as good as you. You got the images. You're kind of laying out the framework and the history of why they were important, what significance they played. I mean, dog. Sometimes leaders are chosen. They're not volunteer.
Yeah, they're just chosen.
You know? Just ask Rosa Parks. She was chosen. She didn't just. It wasn't just randomly. Her feet didn't really hurt that bad. They chose her. Like, look, Rosa.
We got this thing. We're
gonna need you to sit on this bus and not get up because she had the temperament. So she got drafted. It wasn't like she was coming home from work and it was just tired and it was like, I ain't moving. No, that was orchestrated. You know. So, bruh. So what's up?
Bro, what's up?
I'm feeling it. You're not feeling it. You let me.
I'm not. Nah, we're gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. Don't do that.
But I do think it's important.
Oh, absolutely.
To keep it moving and to keep just peppering the people with some just need to knows and fun facts.
Well, I guess I'll leave that up to the people because you know, as we talked about, the people who engage kind of engage and everybody else kind of plays the wall. So I don't know. If it's a thing, like if I should keep doing it once a week, maybe twice a week, or because
I don't think you need to schedule it, but
for me, I need to schedule. I got a life. Yeah, you know, it does take time, to do that. But and I was doing it every day.
Yeah, that's true. So I think I think maybe the things that move you, right? Because obviously you read a lot of stuff and you're enhancing your historical acumen. So to me, it's like a matter of, I think this is dope to know. Like, let me just share this with the people. It doesn't have to be kind of scheduled like that, but I think there's a lot out there that it's helpful for people to get that information when it comes. Just kind of like, dope. Because I think what might make some people uncomfortable is because some of the posts have represented such strength, and that makes people uncomfortable because there's a sense of apologetic pride, I could say, with some people who are just like, yo, don't be posting like the kings and the queens, because for whatever reason, right? Because we had this conversation as to why people shy away from things that represent their lineage, right? But I do think it's important. The only way to normalize it is to normalize it, right? Because if we think about Trump and how everything was a fire when he was being himself, and then after a while, it becomes the new normal, right? That's how new normals are created. So my challenge to you is that let's just make it the new normal. Like sharing it as American history, world history, as you put it. Like it's world history to be completely honest, and just say these are the contributions that folks have made, and we don't have to have a discussion about it, but I enjoy learning about the lineage and the reasons why we're all able to benefit off of things that we utilize today are because of a variety of different people from a variety of different backgrounds. It's important that we get our just due and our praise and our acknowledgement.
I can work with that. I think it's, I like to see more people either engage and pick up and put their own thing out there, or just say like, yo, this is what I'm rocking with, this I'm not rocking with. Because you're dealing with, to me, it's like you're looking at a phantom thing. You don't know who's really rocking with it, who's really not. You know what I mean?
Why do you care?
Well, because then when you have these conversations, where you're like, yo, I'm learning something, for the person who's putting the work and the thing out there, this is where I'm at. Is my brain is at on my pride of being a black man. You don't know if everybody feels the same. So at a certain point, you feel, if nobody's rocking, I keep it to myself because I'm learning from it, And if it's not giving any value out there in the world, then I'd rather share with people who want to know.
Yeah.
So that's just a thought process of it.
Yeah. I just think you never know. I mean, people.
Because I'd like to ask you what you got out of it. What was your thing?
So when I'm, like I said, when I'm on there, and I'm not on there often, but I appreciated it because it's cool to see. I wouldn't have got that from anywhere else, or it would have been a while. It would have been a while if I would have received it, and I don't know where it would have came from because I'm no longer in school. This isn't something that a teacher can assign as homework.
Yeah.
Everything that we're learning now has to be intentional, especially as an adult. You have to want to learn and seek out knowledge.
The new information, yeah.
Right? So, for me, it's like, oh, snap. And it's intriguing. And I think that just allows people to understand that you aren't just one-dimensional. Like, brothers are complex. There are things that we share. And this is actually a good example of how we protect ourselves because we don't think people will find value in things that we're interested in, right? Because I'm the same way in a sense, whereas sometimes, depending on who it is, I won't share it if I don't think they'll find value in it. But the posting, the IG and the Facebook stuff are platforms where people could take it or leave it. It's kind of like the Super Bowl, right? You got 1,300 complaints that came into the FCC about the halftime show with Shakira and J-Lo, right? And so people were complaining about, oh, I didn't know it was a family show and my kids and all this other stuff about, I didn't know I was gonna watching a porn star and all. I mean, really?
Yeah.
Right? So that.
Sit down.
So it's like you could have changed the channel.
Basically.
It was a halftime show.
That wasn't the game. That wasn't the game. That's not the main attraction.
Right? So you seen what it was going to be the moment they started singing. J-Lo came out on the pole.
Yeah.
So you could have like, oh,
never mind. Yep.
switch the channel, came back in 15 minutes.
Exactly.
Right? So I think people can choose to keep scrolling up, honestly, because it's just an easy thing to do. And if they want to engage, then they'll engage. And then I think there's folks that are going to be silent, silent supporters that'll just appreciate it and like, all right, cool, and just may not want to comment on it, but like, that's pretty dope. And then what may happen is that they might think about you for whatever reason in the future about somebody who could speak intelligently about these subject matters. So that's where I'm at with it. Because I want to commend you on it too, man, because it's serious. I mean, you definitely opened my eyes up to a bunch of things, and I know you did with everybody else.
I've had that conversation with a couple people.
Yeah.
They just didn't know, or they didn't go that far with it. So it was a dialogue that was able to happen that I necessarily didn't anticipate with them, which was interesting. And I just think it gives you a sense of pride, so that you know what and where things come from, so you can decipher and make your own process of, okay, where am I at in the, they say, diaspora. Yeah,
and it gives you additional information
Correct.
To work with. I think, as they say, knowledge is something that you can only gain, no one can take from you.
True.
Right? And so anytime you're giving people more information, because again, like we said, there's millions of distractions all day, every day, whether it's February or any other day. People are in the business of attracting you to what they want to sell you, which means that you have to decide to go away from something that could either educate you or benefit you long term. That's the decision that you have to make: the distraction or investing in myself. And am I going to invest my time into this person over here, or this thing, this shiny object?
Yeah. Or
am I going to invest in myself?
It's tension, yeah. Gathering everybody's attention.
Yeah.
Agree.
Cool. And so piggybacking off of that, last night was pretty cool. We went to a Black Business Exchange to book in the month.
Okay.
And that came about because of my airing my grievances.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
you sparked something.
Right.
You sparked something.
And this dates back to our prior conversation with people wanting to wish me Happy Valentine's Day. And I was like, don't do that.
Happy Black History Month. Yep.
Right. And folks were digging it. I was putting that on everybody that would listen.
Yeah.
And folks were digging it and wanted to put something together.
Really great restaurant too.
Yeah, and
good food. And
so just to back up, Black Business Exchange. The Black Business Exchange was supposed to be an opportunity for everyone to network, right? To gather people, to group them together, to get people out of their silos. People that work during the day, and obviously as you get older, you tend to become more secluded because you're not around as many people as you were in school, right?
Yeah.
So you're trying to do your thing. You're on your path to success in whichever way you think that's gonna, whatever things you need to do in order to get you there. And so during that process, you tend to isolate yourself, become more and more isolated, even with the social media platforms.
True.
You do become isolated where you aren't spending as much time with people that are like-minded.
Yeah.
People that can support you and your aspirations and your dreams. And so this platform was utilized to get people out of that, to try to encourage fellowship and togetherness and support amongst people that look like you, both from a professional perspective as well as social, because like we were talking about with networking, is that we're always talking about business or just not even business but work.
Yeah.
Like folks that are working for other folks, and then you're talking about the problems that you're running into trying to manage up and then manage down and then make sure you're presenting yourself in the right way.
Yeah.
And then you're asked to go to something that looks like a networking event, and you pull back like, I don't really want to go. Yeah. And so we created this Black Business Exchange, and you know, everyone was invited because, again, it was supposed to be a celebration of people just kind of doing things, right?
Yep.
And so we had it at this Jamaican spot called Jamaican Kitchen in Rocky Hill.
Shout out to them.
And they've only been open for about 2 weeks. You know,
Food was crazy.
And they welcomed us in. It was about 15 people, I think, came through. And it was a pretty dope affair, man. Everybody was loose, and I think everyone learned a lot about everyone. And I think people just kind of enjoy being in that atmosphere where you know you're in a room full of people that have a certain level of sense.
Yeah,
right?
I think there's a lot to be said to see people like yourself. I think that's something I've always had a struggle with, seeing other people in our age bracket that, you know, you don't have to go to the club anymore. And you can have, like you said, a sensible conversation and just chill and kick it. Kind of, you know, like a nice kickback, but it's not as formal. It's a nice chill. Nobody has to put on no airs. Everybody's kind of just where you at with life and just talk. And that was really good to be around, because we had regular dialogue that ended up leading to different conversations that we wouldn't have normally had, even on a regular networking event, because you're still kind of, you say you're still dancing, you have your good shoes on. Everybody else, they kind of just had their, I'm just going to kick it, these beef patties is killing, that rum punch was flowing, and that curry chicken was slamming. So
yeah, everything was on point.
Everything was on point. So, you know, you have a little bit of a lax, and everybody just started just telling what they were into, and you start finding out more about the person rather than the thing that they do, like you said, on a 9 to 5 basis.
Yeah, it opens you up, and it just felt good, right? It just felt good. Everybody was,
and it wasn't forced,
and it wasn't. Yeah.
It was just natural dialogue and natural people just
moving around,
and you broke into the conversations that you wanted to get a part into, and then the ones that wasn't really pertaining to, you kind of got to sit there and either ear hustle or just be a spectator and just learn. Yeah. Which was, I think that's the benefit that we talked about of networking, and you're doing it in the right circles or in the right environment. Yeah. But it's something that we as young professionals or young Black professionals don't do very well. Or often.
Is it often or very well?
I think both.
Both, right?
I don't think we get out often enough to fellowship like that. Yeah. But I don't think we do it well enough where I do this, and it's like my job makes my identity. Yeah. Where yesterday it was just kind of like, yo, what you into? Yeah. And everybody was just talking. Where you from? What's this? What's that? And just it wasn't any of that. We probably talked about work 10% of the conversation, but everything was just kind of jokes and just what's up and what are you into. Yeah. So I thought that made everybody kind of gravitate towards each other and have those dialogues. But I think we don't do that well in any other, scenario or setting.
Yeah. And and so that is the struggle, is trying to incorporate something like this. And big up to Tiffany, by the way, who put this thing on, Like she actually put this on. She put this on in a week.
Shout out to Tiff with the loud shoes.
She did this in a week, bro. Like Sunday, we put this joint on Friday, right? So, and there was supposed to be a number of other people. I think like the invite went out to a lot of people.
And we got 15. It's not the only. It's the first one, but not the only.
No doubt. But it speaks to that mentality that you were talking about, with just being conditioned and in the habit of just not engaging and isolating yourself, because you're not seeing the immediate return for what this thing that I haven't been to and I don't know is going to be right away, right? So people are looking for
what am I getting out of it?
It's almost as if there's no room for exploration anymore.
Correct.
You're not even willing to take a chance, and mostly everyone that was invited it was a personal invite for the most part.
You had a relationship. You had a relationship
You know
with somebody in the room.
This was like a straight up like
speak easy, like
it
like
was
we talk about. Yeah, you get invite only.
VIP, yo.
Yeah.
And so, you know, a couple people were a little upset because other people didn't come, and my position on it was, I'm like, listen, you gotta be happy with the people that made it, because this is what it was supposed to be.
And they took the time out their day to do it.
Exactly, and I think, and it was fine the way that it was.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and you know, we might have stressed the Jamaican kitchen out if we had 50 people in that joint. You know,
wasn't
what I'm
no
saying?
space for 50 people.
Yeah, and so I think it was a
They would
good
have been happy
show.
with the receipts, though.
They would have been happy with the receipts, but I think what we were trying to accomplish was that relationship building piece,
Correct.
which you can only really do in intimate settings like that. And
after a certain number, there's no longer intimate.
Yeah, it becomes something else.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing that happened was when we were talking, and this is what happens when you don't give things a chance, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you just kind of give yourself an excuse
Mm-hmm.
to either not attend or you know, something is going on, and whatever excuse you give yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't attend, you don't give yourself the opportunity for things to happen for you.
Yeah.
Like, you leave yourself, it's almost like you're not even able to take the shot because you aren't even on the court. And it's because you chose not to come to practice.
Correct.
And not because anything else prevented you from doing it.
You just wasn't even in it. And
so one of the homies that was there, Latrice, mixing up the rum. Shout out to Latrice for mixing up the rum. Right, the second batch was the best, no doubt. The first batch was a little stingy; it stung a little bit.
Oh,
but
man,
the second
stop
batch,
that!
the
Stop
second
that!
batch was smooth.
Nah.
Hey, check it out.
No, I'm not gonna let you
check it
throw
out.
it out there.
Hold on. Check it.
He fronting. Both of them was on point.
Nah, she knows you was late. You was late.
I wasn't late. I got the first round. Don't even do that. See.
But yo, the second batch was cool runnings. Boom. Right. So check it out. So
watered down. It was a little watered down for you. That's all that was. You put more ice in your cup. That's what that was. You
No,
put more ice in your.
Not
you
in the
put
second
more ice in your cup. Yeah, you did.
I put ice in the first batch.
You
The
put
second batch didn't need it.
You put ice in the cup.
But it was all good. It was good. Thank you, Latrice. But her homegirl came, her teammate that she used to play ball with came. And we were going around the table just kind of sharing a thought or two. And her friend apparently is shy. You know, she didn't, you know, she was just, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, which is
cool.
Well,
which was a lot of people, right? But Latrice did not let her off the hook with that, right? She bigged up her homegirl and was like, listen, she's being humble.
She plays pro
ball,
over in Europe.
Overseas, boom, boom, boom. There's a little hiccup right now because of
injuries,
whatever.
Yeah.
But that's not stopping the show.
Correct.
Right? And
somebody overheard
and
it.
then lo and behold, just a random bystander in there getting the grub.
Ear hustling.
Understanding that they're already attracted to the environment. It's like, who are these group of young people in there kind of doing the thing?
And just chilling.
Right? In this new place, kicking it. And tall fellow. Say buddy was like 6'7".
6'7".
Yo, old head, you know, came through, was like, pass on girl the napkin. And we like, okay, what is that? Boom. Opportunity. Just because
he was working from a college.
From a nearby college and wanted her to reach out. And now she's in a position to capitalize on something that she's passionate about. And that opportunity came
because she showed up.
But not only that, think about the order of events, right? Me airing my grievances, somebody acting on that, having the ability to act on that and put something together.
And gather people around. Having the database to gather people around. The relationship. Right.
So that piece, so that domino fell, and then Latrice came through, right? And then she invited her homegirl.
That's exactly, yeah.
And then she accepted. And then she came.
Followed through.
And then she came.
She followed through.
That's the order of events that has to happen, right? In order to put yourself in a position, right place, right time.
Yeah.
Right? And to me, that's what it's all about. It's about putting yourself in a position to win.
Yeah.
not knowing.
Sometimes showing up is just the win.
Exactly.
Because you never know what the domino is going to be that's going to help you get that connection. Because had she not been in that moment, and like you said, Latrice bigging her up, like, I'm not letting you off the hook like
right.
that.
That's the other thing. And she had to big her up.
Yeah.
She had to come, and then Latrice had to follow up. Like, look, nah, I'm not letting her off the hook like that.
And that's what we go back to, who's in your corner. Like, we always talked about that. Who are you rocking with? Because sometimes you may be humble. Like this right here, you was like, yo, we got to do this. And I was like, if it was up to me, like, I'm not doing it. But if there's not somebody that's like, yo, if you're not going to do it, I'm going to put you in a position to make it happen for you. You need to have those people in your world, because they'll end up creating opportunities that you'll never see, or you won't be open or privy to, because in your just natural being, you may not expose yourself or put yourself in the right atmosphere to have those things happen. Mm-hmm. So shout out to Latrice for doing that.
That joint right there just it brought everything together.
Oh yeah, and I think people understand. You know, there's a big thing of, and I saw this on somewhere on social media. Sometimes helping people out is just being a cheerleader for them. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't have to always give them money. Mm-hmm. You can just be somebody's vocal piece. They're bang on the drum for them, even if they don't want to bang on the drum, because either their humbleness or their shyness. Right. You could beat that drum for them, and shout out to Tiff, because Tiff's the same way. Like, yo, if you're not gonna say something for you, I'm gonna promote and say something for you, because it matters, and those are the people you need to surround yourself with.
Yeah, and that's attitude, man. Mm-hmm. That's like the attitude of just understanding that rising tide, man. Yeah. That lifts all the boats. Gotta be connected. You can't be caught up in what's in it for you all the time, because that's not going to be very clear. You're not going to be able to see what's in. Everything that can come your way isn't going to be right in front of you. This man came walking through the door at. What time was it?
Had like 8:30, 9 o'clock.
And the drum was supposed to be over at 8:30, right?
We stayed and we hung around. We was kicking it.
So
but the energy that we had was everybody was just cooling. So you got 15, Black Spanish people. Everybody's kind of just kicking it, and it's not no riffraff. It's like, oh, these, you know what I mean? Like, because it's not the normal. You're like, oh, right. Oh god, let me hurry and get my food and get up out of here. Right. It was like, yo, they.
And the thing is, like, we came through, we supported, we bought food, because again, it's a business. You want to support the businesses, because if you want to see more entities like that being sustainable
and
successful, you gotta patronize the business. You cannot be asking for no discount.
No, you gotta give them.
You gotta give. Get there, order the fucking large. Excuse me.
But that's large. That's for real. Because if you're not gonna go to Morton's or Carmine's or whatnot and ask them, or Goodfellas, and ask them for no discount,
don't be coming over here.
Don't come over that. Don't come over to people that look like you asking for no discount.
Right.
Because that offends people. That hurts our business, because you're not gonna go, and it's called what it is. You're not gonna go to white business and ask for no discount. Mm-hmm. You're gonna pay that price, and you're gonna show up. You're not gonna do nothing crazy.
And you're gonna brag about it.
You do the same thing on the other side. Make it be balanced.
Same respect.
Yeah, keep the same energy. I'm cool with that, and I think that's what we did very well. Of just, this is the venue. They're open and hosting and letting us have that time in that space. Mm-hmm. You got to show up and don't go, I'm gonna get beef patties. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you just get the beef patties. Right. Nah. Try stuff out and big them up and go through it, so that,
especially the new businesses,
correct, because they need it.
They need that action. They need people. The parking lot needs to see people walking into this place. Correct. They need to see people coming out, laughing, smiling, having a good time,
because they want to be part of. Yo, what's going on in there? Let me find out what's happening. And they had a good stream of people coming in and out. Yeah. Which is, everybody knows the first 5 years of business is tough, especially in restaurants. Restaurants hard. So and it's not like. Jamaican restaurants are not.
That is an acquired taste. Straight up.
So if you get a good one.
If you're not from the culture, if you're not of the culture, then, but you might be a little.
But hey, but the thing is, when you get a good one, you want to see it survive.
Yeah, so I'm actually happy to see the traffic that they're getting.
Oh yeah, I was happy that everything was able to work, and shout out to them, because they were great on the customer service. It wasn't no janky,
And they took credit cards. That's a big pet peeve of mine.
As my big homie would always say, don't make it hard for me to pay you.
Thank you.
Don't make it hard for me to pay you.
Say it again.
Don't make it hard for me to pay you. Because that's always, that dude, shout out to my big homie Strobe. He loses his mind on that. If you make it hard for him to pay you, he will have a complete conniption and be like, ready to black out.
That's me. That is me. Yeah. I mean, look, it's 2020. Don't tell me
what you can't do.
You don't have a Squarespace where I can swipe
PayPal, something. Cash App. There's more than one way to take money now.
Cause I walked out of a place 2 weeks ago because they told me the minimum to use my card was $10.
Yeah.
I was just trying to get a coffee.
Yeah.
I said okay. I'm
out.
I can't do nothing here.
But I'm a very big supporter, because I had this conversation about another business that I patronize pretty often, and they don't always have their act together. The consistency that
you gotta be consistent.
But even just having it, somebody thought this whole thing out, so it wasn't they just started it, and I'm okay with imperfect action.
I was gonna come back to that. So where's the balance? Where's the balance on the imperfect action and having your stuff drawn out?
It's always good. You have to do it.
Yeah.
You have to do it. But what I saw from them, they had a system. Somebody worked on the systems, even though it's new. They had an idea. They had a plan. So they didn't say we don't have enough of this. Although there were some items they didn't have, but it wasn't. It's like, okay, we
in the kitchen.
Yeah, you're like, all right, cool. That's cool.
It's still ramping up.
Exactly. I'm not gonna kill you for it.
But you had confidence that they eventually will get it.
But your menu. You knew what you're gonna have. Right. You knew what, listen. And what I appreciated he said was, I don't have this, but I got this. Mm-hmm. So it's not the exact thing you want, but it's another brand of it, because I drink sea moss and stuff.
Yeah.
So they didn't have the wild sea moss, but they had a different version of it, which was a canned one, which just as good. It's just a different A and B. I thought that was like, I can rock with that, because you may not have this, but let me, and some business, because the conversation we've had before about another business I support, I don't have it. And it's like, all right, now what? And you going, well, I wanted that. And you don't have a backup for me to rock with me. Mm-hmm. So I like the fact that they had a system set in place. So just in case, if we don't have A, I can give you B. If I don't have B, I can give you C. Or, listen, we're going to have this in the confidence of, we have an identity, we have a roadmap of, this is what to expect when you come to this restaurant. Mm-hmm. These are the things that we're going to be serving. Mm-hmm. These are the prices. These things make a big difference in setting an expectation for your customer walking in the door. Mm-hmm. And you can pay in different ways. And the waits weren't long. Because the people that came that weren't sitting like we were, they weren't in there waiting forever for their food. Mm-hmm. I'm perfectly good with that, which means somebody sat down and thought that out. Yeah. Now, on the other side of the imperfect action, is can you learn from the mistakes? All right, where's the gap? I'm okay with you making a mistake, but are you getting better with the gaps? Yeah. Because you have to realize you are making mistakes. But sometimes don't get stuck not doing anything. Got to do something.
Yeah. And then part of identifying the mistakes is having some trusted advisors around you that's willing to front you and say, listen, this cannot continue.
Yeah. And the best thing is listen to the consumers. Because if you have 2 or 3 consumers come in and say, well, I wanted that, but you don't have it. To them to click, all right, they want that. Let me get that to make sure I don't have this problem anymore. That's got to be a thing, which I appreciated where we went. It wasn't a gap. And the gap that they had was just, we don't have that right now, but we got this. Yeah. we're not going to beef on that.
We're still raving about that.
Oh yeah. I'm really big into seeing new businesses work and new businesses start off. Because you can tell based off how they...
It takes a lot to take that jump, to make that investment. Because all of that money is sunk in the front end.
Front end.
You're leaping on faith.
And you're hoping it's to break even sometimes.
And especially in locations that do not have a demographic that will largely patronize the business.
Because they definitely are not in...
They are not
an urban or a predominantly black neighborhood.
No,
not even close. Not even close.
No.
Because when you told me it was, I was like, the hell? Like, I know there's like a small percentage of black, and I mean like maybe 2 to 10 black people that live in anywhere in the earshot of this place.
But weren't you a little intrigued about how many people were coming in though? Clearly, people live out there, and they're like, dang. Because I was surprised. I'm like, okay.
The thing I know about that area is you're in between. You're in between 3 different areas, so you can catch some people.
Okay.
That's all.
Yeah.
Like, I know that much. You're in between 3 different areas,
but you gotta get in the car to get there.
Oh, absolutely. That's the part where I was like, let's see how that part works, because
that's why I was impressed because.
But then you deliver on the food.
If we work on that, we work off that theory that you're at least surrounded by some areas that are populated with some ethnicity. Mm-hmm. You still have to drive to get to that location.
You have to, which means with also then I think of you have to have the product to make people want to take that drive. Mm-hmm. And as soon as I ate that food, I said, all right, let me go with because I know when I go to my Rasta spots and I go to the hood and I get my Jamaican food, I know what I want.
What did you get?
I got the curry chicken. I got to try my plantains. Mm-hmm. I had the rice. Yeah. Peas and rice.
The patties were dope. The patties were flaky. The crust was on point.
I didn't even get to try it. I was so full. And that says a lot.
I got some in the fridge, dog. Don't you worry.
Bet. Because my thing is I gotta have my cocoa bread. So I can't.
Yo, that was the thing too.
I gotta have my cocoa bread with my patties.
I had that cocoa bread too. And that was the other thing about some of the Jamaican spots.
They don't always have the cocoa bread.
I'm like, yo, how is that possible?
That's a thing.
I'm like, where is that a thing? I did not grow up like that.
Especially being in New York.
I remember when I went to Philly, I'm like, y'all don't have, like, how do you have beef patty and no cocoa bread?
Yeah, that's, come on. Like, fam, what are you doing? That goes hand in hand.
I'm like,
I don't
understand that. I'm like, what kind of Jamaican are you?
Yeah. But it's funny because you told Jamaican that's not a thing for them. They don't have cocoa bread. It's an American thing.
Oh, damn, for real?
Mm-hmm. Damn. When I told them my Jamaican friends, they're like, we don't really eat cocoa bread like that. Like,
really?
That's y'all.
Okay.
So, but I'm a supporter of it. So.
Well, I know we didn't come up with it.
I don't know. Listen, we'll have to get somebody from the culture.
Straight
up.
I
have enough of those.
Because that was lunch for me. That was lunch for me. Lunch for me, when the funds was low, was beef patty and cocoa bread.
God, absolutely. And a champagne cola
for $2.30.
And a champagne cola if you was feeling froggy
for $2.30. That was it. It might have been $1.80. I think about it. It was
probably
$1.80. It was 50 cents for the cocoa bread.
Mm-hmm.
And $1.30 for the beef patty.
That sounds about right. I know.
That's what
I know what it is. I know what it is. I know we went with it. But the thing was, the product made you be like, I'll take that ride.
Cause that was a sandwich. That was lunch.
Cause my thing was, I know spot in Hartford I go to, 2 spots in Hartford, they got sea moss. Mm-hmm. And I know that's when you really tapping in, like you tapped in. They had sea moss there. I was like, oh, word? And y'all have rock cake? So yeah, I got rock cake and y'all got sea moss. Let me see what y'all working with. So I was like, okay, I'm really, this is not we gonna sell you some curry chicken, a little curry goat that may not be seasoned, and the cabbage was good. Like, everything was hitting, and I was like, I can't be eating no more. If I eat anymore, I'm out of here.
Yeah, man. But while we were there, in the midst of all the conversation, we were sitting next to homeboy Dexter.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to
Dexter, and we got in the conversation talking about multiple streams of income, like what we're doing outside of the 9 to 5, right? And you two actually had something in common that, and this goes back to putting yourself in environments to just learn and build and just conversate, converse, and be in just that environment, right? Mm-hmm. So y'all started kicking it off talking about your experiences acting as a service provider on eBay, a distributor on eBay. And so I think Dex said I don't know how long he'd been doing it, but he's making some pretty significant income. Mm-hmm. He's bringing in some pretty significant income. And the idea for him was, look, I'm just trying to add a little parachute.
A little extra.
You know what I'm saying? up until the point where if I could get it aligned with what I'm making on my 9 to 5, I'm gonna feel better. I'm gonna feel secure. I'm gonna feel comfortable. And then in the event that these folks start nutting up in the head,
I could walk away. But we talked about that before, but having the FU money, like you ain't gonna just put me in a situation. You talk to me crazy, and that was what can you do to supplement what you have, what you were talking about investments and things like that, so that in the event where you're like, all right, this is just not working for me no more, I got something to fall back on, or I got something to take care of my debt, and like, because he was talking about that of just what his motivation was of using that besides creating the ancillary income and spoke because, like I said, you have to be on point with that, and it was a really good conversation, and it basically started off him talking about how he uses eBay to flip products. So most people may not know is you can go to eBay and people usually hear it from buying Jordans. You buy a Jordan for $200, $230, you sell it for $280, you make $50 profit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I hear about. I hear about everybody doing the very niche things that everybody knows. Them J's that come out, but y'all were talking about a different level of flip.
So he's kind of talking like wholesaling, and that was where we were at with it. Of go to Marshalls, and you go buy a pair of Reeboks or Nikes that are Marshall for $30, $35. You can go check and see what they're selling for, and they may be selling for $80, $90, $100. All you gotta do is have somebody pay for the shipping costs. You just put it on eBay, you sell it for $100, you make $65. Let's say it costs you $5 to $10 to get the whole shipping it out process and all that kind of stuff. You make $50. You do that 10 times, you got $500.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I guess I was thrown off that there was a market for that, because in my mind I'm thinking, well, those are accessible, but he's like, nah, you can move these.
You can move, because I was telling him I do it for board games. My niche was just doing it for games, and that was just fun money, pocket money. Just keep, you want to have $200 to go out for the weekend. Yeah, just go sell a couple games, and I'm not touching my money. That's just money I'm hustling up just to have extra, drinking money or just to go out and party.
Yeah. So how did you get put on to that?
So I follow this guy called Gary Vee. I've been following him for a couple years, and he did a challenge 2 years ago. I want to say 2017, maybe 2018. He called it the Flip 20 whatever year it was challenge, where you can make $20,000 or $2,000, whatever. I think it was $20,000 by just going to garage sales, taking items, finding them, putting them on eBay, and selling them. And he's made money on it, and people have actually done that and made some decent money, kind of like Dex, and was finding the niche. But you end up realizing when you start digging into it, because the whole hard part is going to go shopping. Like, you got to go look at these items and figure out what's the best thing to sell, and then putting it out there to sell.
Yeah, what has resale value?
And I think that's what I heard from Gary Vee started that. And I was like, let me just try this out. And, you think, well, what do you know most? I know sports, I know sneakers, but I thought of what's the easy turnaround? Board games, because I started hearing about people playing more board games as ways to connect. I'm like, we all know about board games. You know about Candyland and Sorry and Connect 4 and things like that. And they're nostalgia games, which means you can buy them for $1.50 and they sell for like $10, $15. That's a big, you want to find margin.
Yeah.
And this is the basic principles of having a business. So you're really learning sales and marketing and profit margins anyway. So you're doing it just on a funny level. Yeah. So I said, all right,
business is business. And numbers are the numbers.
But the thing is, people think of it on a high level. You could just take it down to something simple as that, like buy for $1, sell for $2.
Right.
Where I can go buy a toy for 50 cents and I can sell it for $10. I made $9.50. Right. But then, okay, what did it cost me to ship the thing? Yeah. What did it cost for me to pay eBay, whatever the little fee is? Then after that, I have what's called a profit. You just did a business transaction. So when people say, I don't know business, I don't get it, it's like, no, you do. Like, it's not that hard. It's just you may not think you relate to it because of what you typically think business is, of, corporate mergers and, that kind of high level thing. But it's all the same thing, just on a lower level. So I started doing it like that just for the fun of it. Like, okay, how much money could I make? And I showed you and Dex what I had made in the last 90 days and just what I had selling. Just that's my fun stuff. That's the fun money to have on the side if I want to do something, whatever. It's not my extra money. But then talking to Dex, I'm like,
You're selling yourself short.
Oh my God.
Because I'm like, fun money.
Yeah.
This dude is moving units.
He's moving units. but that goes to being around a different room because I'm thinking like, okay, if I just have a couple extra dollars, cool. Then I can get around him like, hold up, like, hold on, time out. Me and you gotta talk because you what?
Yeah.
And then, that's the part where you have to be around different rooms and be around different people because then you.
That's right. That's why success begets success because when you're around like-minded people, then they motivate you and they encourage you. Whereas if you're trying to keep yourself up every day alone and you're in a silo and you're isolated, then it's easy to get discouraged and it's easy to believe that you're doing the best that you can.
Or to get distracted.
You get distracted like the month of February.
Mm-hmm. Like the month of February.
And so it's important to just have those moments where you just have the ability to just kick it with folks, man.
And the thing was, it's funny because we knew the same people. We talked about the same thing. We talked about the same people that were doing it. We talked. Like we were talking,
y'all were hitting the same notes.
And he said he was like, I haven't seen anybody that was around doing the same thing. I'm like, I haven't talked to nobody that wants it. Like that was so you, like you said, don't.
And I enjoyed watching that too, man. I was like, this is cool.
This is cool. That's the difference because you said that I didn't know you did that. It's like
I think You did because I think I heard. Yes. I think I forgot that you did it because one thing or another, but. To obviously see you two engage on that level about that particular subject matter was just dope to see because to me like that's what the whole event was about. Like that embodied everything that the event was supposed to be.
Well, we also had an author that was there and she sold her books. She brought her books.
Rocky Rose.
Shout out to author Rocky Rose.
Straight up, she had again, and then from her perspective, here's somebody who's published 2 books already. Self-published 2 books already.
And that's local. That's in the state of Connecticut. That's local. Homegrown. And pushing her own work. Shout out to her.
Straight up, and now she's we're giving her opportunity to expand her reach and her network, and I'm sitting next to her. She's autographing, signing books. I'm loving it. I'm like, this energy right here is giving me life. So I'm just looking forward to just keep building and having these opportunities to just build with people and just create that safe space.
Yeah. Right. Because everybody did feel comfortable and she got to talk about her books. Dex and I were talking about business. Even Tiff had brought up she wanted to get into the more HR and doing that.
Yep. The staffing and recruiting.
The staffing and recruiting.
Talent
and everybody got to, okay, that's what you want to do. Yep. Like, how can we be supportive either by actually patronizing the business?
Got the link from the local university.
Yeah. But that's what we've always talked about and the kind of reason why we wanted to do what we're doing here of giving people that space to say, yo, go ahead. Like, somebody's got to be able to be the Kickstarter for everybody to get together and build on top of that and then support. Like, okay, I know somebody that writes books. So I was like, yo.
You need to have a conversation with that person.
You need to have a conversation.
If you're thinking about doing that, here's somebody that you could bounce your ideas off.
And that's how the whole thing started because you got mad about Black History Month.
I aired a grievance. Let's not perpetuate the angry black man stereotype. Let's not perpetuate. I aired a grievance. Y'all don't call Trump an angry white man. Don't say I got mad.
He's an angry white man.
Hey, they don't say that. They label him as irate or he was beside himself.
You were beside yourself.
There we go.
About Black History.
There we go.
Because people were leading with love, and you were like, "No, respect my blackness."
Oh, so I'm all for love.
No, but the first thing you said was, "Nah."
But don't
hit me with Cupid. Talk about my blackness.
Without talking about the blackness, okay?
So,
without some acknowledgement.
Without you having that, and then I known the author, and I was like, oh, taking information. Yo, Tiff, maybe you might be interested in this. Read this.
Yep.
And boom. Nothing for me, but it's just you have to share.
And the product hit.
And the product sold for itself. Yep. And that got that person, Tiff, interested, which was like, yo, let's put something all together because we're doing the podcast. Everybody has something that they can bring to the table, but then it was in a position of, I want to see you win.
Right.
We have to be able to be okay with that, especially as Black people.
Mm-hmm.
There's enough out there for everybody to do what they have to do, and we can all support each other and not to step on each other's toes, which is what I really appreciated about yesterday. Where, what are you doing? And then how can we support?
And that really is what this whole thing and this platform is supposed to represent. Is we see enough of the celebrity and the 5%ers, right?
Mm-hmm.
You always get to hear about their story, and they represent sort of this one in a million like person,
untouchable,
right?
Yeah.
This is like, all right, that's not the norm, and then you get the other end, the extreme opposite of that, which is extreme impoverished people that look like us. And so people, if you're only watching TV, the only representation that you have of people of color are entertainers
or ball players,
right? Anybody in the entertainment industry that's making you either laugh or pay a ticket, or you're having some impoverished people that need help from the government in some capacity, either because a hurricane hit, or for some other reason, right? But there aren't enough mediums where just the people that are here, just in balance, just riding on the wave, trying to do better and trying to excel. There aren't enough images of that. We don't get enough airtime, and so that's what this is supposed to be about.
And we don't put ourselves in enough areas and positions to have a TIFF, to have a this, to have a you, to have people who, or me, or just, there's that information. Go run with it. Just, I know this person, and just connect. And then how do we bring us all together so everybody's under one roof? We have to appreciate the connectors better.
Yeah, but even that state of mind has to be taught. Like that's something that has to be cultivated, right? You have to have people that believe in it, right? Because again, it goes away from the "what's in it for me" mentality to understanding that you have to believe in something bigger than you. You have to believe that you're doing something to uplift the people, to uplift the culture and experience.
Yes.
And if you're always thinking about, all right, how can I lift myself, instead of thinking about building a coalition of people in a collective that you can help promote, that you can be proud of.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing better than having a conversation with someone and saying, I know somebody you need to talk to.
Correct.
Or why don't you swing through, let's have lunch later on in the week because you didn't know this, but I got to connect for what you need. I got that piece that you're missing.
Correct.
And that you only get that from sharing information and sharing yourself with people.
And not having any strings attached to it. Like you said, there's no what's in it for me. It's just, I know, hey, have that conversation. To read that. Like, gotta read that. That ain't gonna do nothing for me. Do it for you.
Yeah.
And there's nothing in it. There's no personal agenda. I think that was a really good environment to be around. And then when we do have the avenues or venues like the Jamaican Kitchen to go to, supporting and being there and being promoters of those venues and letting them continue to grow. Because, like you said, the product is good. They're in a different location, but we still can go support. Yeah. And we still can go beat the drum for them.
Yeah.
Because they showed up.
And so, and just bringing back and just, I want to piggyback off of what you just said and just round it out with, all of the posts that you've gone through the month. Just a quick question, and I'm curious as to what you think the most influential post or something that you came up with, either be it the kings and the queens or the tribes, any of those elements of the post that you were sharing with people, which one of those to you spoke to things that we can still implement and are still relevant today?
Good question. I think there's a couple different ways to look at it. I would say, to make it relatable to now, and I've been you call me bleak about the outlook of Black America going into this voting season and going into the future. I'm probably more on the like, y'all about to be back in slavery. Y'all just don't know it.
You are prepared for. So it's funny because you have the mentality that I have, which is prepare for the worst but expect the best. But I don't think you expect the best. You prepare for the worst and expecting the worst.
Absolutely. Oh my God, absolutely. It's gonna go down. And when it goes down, I'm gonna be laughing. I'm gonna be laughing because I see it.
Yeah.
But to go back to what you were asking is, what's relatable now, I think, would be the more to the Almoravids, the group of the Moors. What they ended up doing under Ali forget, I'm messing it up, but Ali Tashif Yabin, I think Yasin was his name. He was the one that took the Moors out as a dynasty in Africa and then started conquering southern Spain, which led to Greece, which led to England. But the Almoravids were the group of Moors under Islam, but they were different factions of tribes, and they all bound together under one kind of flag and decided we're going to take on the Spanish and defeat them and then push our agenda while keeping the home base. I think that right now is something that, and I've talked to you about this talking about voting, where we at as a culture. You got to have your culture and your base and then push forward to grow out. I think that to me is very relatable to right now because we're losing a lot of our identity and people don't either want to acknowledge who they are, where they are, and what's going on, and don't want to band together. Everybody's in their silos, but it's, yo, you're a black guy too. Like, whatever, no matter, at the end of the day, we're still us, and there's still people who don't want to see us succeed, that don't want to have us have an equal position.
Want to keep it status quo.
Correct. And you can't just sit there and go, well, you know, I don't relate because I have a degree, or I don't relate because I live over here, or as you said to me, and what's happened in the last 4 years, we can't have that division. It has to be who's going to help defeat the things that are pushing back against us and that would suppress us. So I think that is one group that I think is relatable to right now.
And the takeaway from that is building a collective.
Building a collective to create power again. To create a strong power, you have to have the base. So having the base of we are this, and no matter how many different groups are in it, the main thing is we are one. And then let's push the agenda forward to conquer, to go forward. So that's my big one for them. And then the Yoruba tribe, which is more for the culture, the kente cloth, spirituality, culture of understanding who you are as a people and being proud, and not the typical idea of what you have in Africa, but these are the ones, they dress beautifully, they have kingship, they have just a sense of pride and self that when they walk into the room, you're going to talk to us straight up. We are one. I think those two would be the two tribes that I think would be relatable to today. I would like to see that mindset switch around to.
And you know the first scenario, you know I'm emotional about that.
Which scenario?
About supporting one thing and moving towards one direction, right? Because the whole Kamala thing, you know that ate me up for a long time. And that's an example of that.
That's
what happens when you fail to do that.
But
this is what.
Can we be honest? When you and I was driving to New York and we was having this conversation, and she had wiped the floor with Joe Biden, what did I say to you?
You told me you prepared. I mean, you told me
we was gonna do her dirty.
Yes, you did,
and we did.
Yep.
And that was my point of we haven't been able to put together and understand. Okay.
Kills me,
but that's where we are right now, and that
still applies today.
And you're going, the best shot that we probably had was right there, and for whatever discrepancies you may have, we got to handle that under one house, under indoors,
right?
And that was my thing,
right?
And I told you we weren't gonna do that indoors. they did it in the public stage, which weakened what we were trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so
and you lose leverage that way.
And that was my point of when we had these political talks of like, yo, we're not even yeah, all right, go ahead, let's see how this goes. And then we talked about the picture we saw that was of this week with, you know, certain people praying over Trump. You know, like
and, oh Lord, we don't have time for that.
I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
This is where going back to what we should be doing and what's really happening, of why I've been like, all right, we're destroying it. We're very far off the path. Yeah. And I just hope that in the next 8 years we don't go back to
we don't really regress, go back to the future.
No, I hope we don't go prior to Jim Crow.
Yeah. Yeah, so now, yeah, you got to get out there and vote. There's no question about it. You have to get out there and exercise your right. But that begs the question now is just, so to pivot and stay on this conversation, what are people saying that they want? Like, what are they looking for? So we're in primary season right now. Right, Democratic primary season, and there's six Democratic primary
out of 30 that was there
right now.
30,
and unfortunately, Kamala bowed out early. I still think she should have been like the last three. Like if she wasn't gonna win, she should have been like last three at least. That's where I was. I was so angry when she suspended her campaign because it was only a representation. It basically is what happens when you just have lack of support. Like period. Like there's no way in the world she should have been out as early as she should, as she suspended her. She shouldn't have been out as early as she elected to do. So, ear to the streets. What the people saying they want?
I think it depends on what age group you're talking about. Because when
you thinking it matters? You thinking that matters?
I know it matters. Because when I talk to the wise men, they hate Bernie. Because their first thing is, oh, we're gonna pay for everything.
And the wise men are your old heads for context.
Yeah, for context. So they're 50 and over. So they're over 50.
Yeah.
So their mindset is, Bernie can't pay for everything. I can't have everything be socialist. I'm tired of paying for everybody's this and that for you to be on welfare, which there's merit in what they're saying, but at the same time, they can't see past status quo. So from my perspective, me talking to them, they're going for more of a Joe Biden feel. And it's not because Joe Biden's a good candidate, it's just kind of like, it's the trail end of Obama. Like, at least he was connected to the source. And I do the same face, like, what's that mean? Has nothing to do with anything, but that's that mindset of that group. And I talk to my mother about it. My mother have big debates on it.
Yeah.
My mother kind of feels the same way. Like, well, if anybody had to vote for, I kind of relate for Biden. I'm going, not to disrespect you, but you guys kind of have that, like, the white man is the right thing kind of mindset. When I talk to our age group and younger, they're more of Bernie supporters. A couple people going for Yang that kind of got it on the business side. A lot of people, I saw more of a following for Yang, and I was a Yang supporter after Kamala because I thought Yang got it, and you need somebody with the business mind. He just didn't have the personality. You and I talked about that, but I think Bernie's the guy if you're talking probably 35, 40 and under, because he's talking to the things that affect us now, and he gets it. I will say, and I've been very vocal about this, I don't really care for Bernie. And the only reason why I don't care for Bernie is what I don't like about Bernie is don't have Killer Mike, don't have black representation. Your senior campaign manager is a black woman. I forget her name. She's really, really prominent. Don't have black people representing you and helping you gain the black vote, because that was something that hurt you in the last primary against Hillary, because you didn't have enough black people inside your ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you get on and people ask you about the black agenda, you start talking that all lives matter nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I lose it with Bernie, and that for me is like, you're no different than on the other side. So that's a personal thing for me, but from what I've seen of him, when he has to address black issues, it becomes everybody, and it's like, all right, no, but you were asked about a specific issue that deals with a certain group of people, and you make it everybody has to be taken care of. And you and I've had that conversation where you do the black agenda, and it will bring everybody else up with it, but that's that. So I think what people are mattering right now is either getting Trump out of there, because he's just been toxic, just disgusting. You don't know where you're gonna plummet to in the next 4 years if he's there. And I told you, like I told the wise men back in 2015, he wins again, he's gonna be a third-term president. And we fought about that, and I know you had grievances with me about that, but now we can have a record for it.
Yeah.
Trump will be a third-term president if he gets in there for the second term, which is looking, but
that's where we are. Got to get out there. So let me ask you about Biden, because just to go back to that, and why people are supporting Biden. And so the wise men said that they support him because he was Obama's right-hand man. He was his running mate. He was the vice president. So, and this is the problem that I have, and this is the fundamental issue that I have with the ish that I heard about the reasons why people didn't mess with Kamala, right, was record.
Correct.
Right? So, do you think people are riding with Biden because he was the person that stood next to Obama, or do you think they're riding with Biden based off his record? Because, and that's to say that if Obama had selected, let's say Senator Kane from Virginia to be his running mate, basically
the one that
Hillary ran, right? Would folks say I'm riding with Tim Kaine? No. I think his name was because he rode with Obama.
No,
you don't. So okay, so you don't think it's because he was a placeholder? You think it's beyond his support of Obama, but you actually think it has something to do with his record or personality or
I think it has nothing to do with any of that. I think it has to go. We have to have an honest conversation. And I can say that the wise men have told me this. They said it's going to take another white man to be another white man. A powerful white man to be the white man. Okay. And so in their mind...
But there's 1, 2, 3...
But it's old school.
4.
I get it.
4 white men in there.
I get it.
Which is, I guess, why Biden is having a tough time.
Correct.
Damn, I disagree. But we run out of time.
I throw my hands. That's my opinion. It's my opinion.
We run out of time. Folks, we need to hear from y'all on this. I have a perspective. Dre has a perspective. We need to hear from y'all on this. Let's run it down, Dre. This was pretty good. We ran through some things. Let's run it down, man.
Throughout the Black History Month.
Black History Month and beyond, we are making an effort to keep bringing knowledge and information to the people about American contributions in the world.
African contributions to the world.
Right. African contributions to the world and the U.S.
We talked about the Black Exchange.
The Black Business Exchange.
Just supporting each other, supporting other business.
We definitely
creating an ecosystem, creating a new ecosystem.
No doubt. We're going to try to get one of those off. What you think is a pretty good cycle to have those? How often do you think those should occur?
Like, you can call them like a First Fridays kind of. I think that'd be kind of cool, like a First Friday every month. Mm-hmm. That'd be cool. Pick a new venue.
Yeah.
A new venue or a venue that needs to maybe get
some exposure.
Yeah. That can bring in a different little lifeblood. That's
yeah.
But my thing is, got to be of the culture. They got to be receptive. We can't go patronize somebody that don't want us.
You mean the attendees?
Both. I'm getting attendees and the venue.
Oh, okay.
Both. It's got to be,
Yeah.
It has to be that because we have to, where we spend our dollar matters.
Yeah.
So you have to have somebody who's of the culture.
So we gotta roll up in the venue like, hey, look, we got this thing. We're gonna bring you some business, but we need you to come correct. Are y'all gonna be able to handle this?
Mm-hmm.
Who you got working that night? Do they have an attitude problem, or?
But then that's how we get to know people in our communities.
Yeah.
Because that matters.
Yeah.
So
And it was cool, like dude MJ,
Mm-hmm.
one of the owners at the Jamaican Kitchen, he was talking about a black dude that owns the movie theater out in
Manchester. So like you've been doing a movie night. So you can do a movie
we
night.
might do a movie night or something.
Like a little social.
Have you been to
kickback.
that one?
No.
I wonder if they have like a bar or something.
We
like
can
that.
figure it out.
We gonna have to figure that out.
But once again, had we not had that, we wouldn't have known about that movie theater. So my point is, we just got to find
Facts.
places that are of the culture that will support us and that we could support back.
Mm-hmm.
That need, like you said, that we wouldn't normally know about, and we got to promote them. Put them on your social medias, put them on, take pictures of these places so that people know where to go support
and just cycle through. Like
Yeah.
we're not gonna be one and done.
Yeah,
like
no.
it's nothing wrong with repetition, man. That's you gotta have that money.
Yeah, so I think the first Fridays, because then you give 12 businesses the opportunity to have that one day that they can plan for. Like,
Yep.
we're going to be here and we're going to have this, and
Yeah.
we know we can build around it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went to
That got the multiple streams of income.
finding your passion. Well, you just find something you can sell.
Finding something and then
Making some extra money.
and trying to find somebody to have that conversation with
Yeah.
that shares a similar interest.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And then of course the spirited debate,
It's always going to be spirited. We're in that time.
politics, the
Shoot.
importance of the vote. Also the census is coming up. That's real too. The census is coming up.
Mm-hmm.
That's important because folks are. You talk about why the minority runs the majority is because of the electoral college and the way the districts are split up.
Mm-hmm.
The census helps draw those lines, and so the number of representatives that changes. That is not set in stone, people. The number of representatives that you have for a state changes. The number of senatorial seats stays the same. Each state has 2, but the number of House seats that changes based on census data.
Yeah.
So when fill out the census, make sure you're counted because that's going to determine the number of federal funds that comes to your area.
We could talk about that more in the next podcast because that's something that has to be, I think it's more than just a 30-second advertising.
No doubt. I just thought about it as we were talking about
Yeah.
elections, but we could definitely bring that up. Cool. That does it for us, man.
You're on 2.
On 2. Check in with us, y'all. Peace.
Peace.